Welcome everyone who is also in this conversation with us.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Lily Swab. What the fuck
Carrie
is up?
Brennan?
Brennan? That's your Oklahoma accent.
Is that really? Brennan.
Yeah, dude.
Carrie Brennan?
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's Oklahoma. That sounds...
Okay, let's start there also, because I am very curious about your childhood.
Okay.
Like,
what do you want to know?
Essentially everything, but
okay.
Let's say family tree.
Okay.
Like, how many siblings do you have?
All right. I've got 2 older brothers. We're all 2 years apart. The oldest is a filmmaker. Just had his first baby. He's doing great.
Amazing. What's his name?
Ozzy.
Cool.
Yeah. And then my other brother. Oh, my brother's name or the baby's? Yeah, you want to know my brother's name. You don't want to know the baby's name.
Is that his baby?
I said, he just had a baby. And you go, what's his name? John. John
okay,
is my older brother.
I was going to say, damn, like,
yeah, that's pretty...
Lily and an Ozzy.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Okay,
so John's my oldest, and then J. Michael's the one in the middle.
J. Michael?
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So are either of your parents artistic?
My mom was artistic, but she never like really took it. Like she had a clothing company, then she had... she was an artist, painted, and like I grew up like watching her do that. But it was always like, I mean, first and foremost, she was like a stay-at-home mom. That was kind of like her main. So it was always like anything artistic that she did was like on the side of like a passion, but it wasn't like she ever really pursued it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so curious. Like, what were you like in art class as a kid?
Dude, so bad. Any class I was terrible at. Horrible. My experience in art class, loved it. It felt like there were no boundaries and it was like super fluid and everything. And I loved that space, like the potential of that. But it's almost like anything that has rules and I know this is like stubborn and probably entitled a bit, but it's like a double-edged sword of like, as soon as someone's telling me what to do, like I don't have fun.
Interesting.
So it's like, it's wild because it's like, if I went, sometimes I'm like, I had this college experience that was so different from like I taught myself, I'm self-taught, like how to paint and everything.
Yeah.
That like, sometimes I'm like, why, if I could have unlocked this early before college, like I could have gone to an art school and like, who knows what that would have been like and where that would have taken me.
Right.
But I'm kind of like, I think that maybe could have potentially sabotaged the whole thing. You know, like I think there's some beauty in just letting it come out of you and you following it. Like, being the student as opposed to the teacher, you know, as opposed to learning as a teacher and then, you know what I mean? Your craft kind of coming out of that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, art class I've always felt that potential. Like there was something in me, but it was never really my thing. I was like super into soccer and like field hockey, like sports were like, that was like my identity.
Yeah.
Like and I wanted to go play in college and like, I don't know. I mean, this is I'm getting off topic, but.
You're good. There's no
rules. I just think too, the art thing it came out of nowhere, really.
When did you realize, oh shit, I could be good at this or I could pursue this as a career? I
think when it was the pandemic and it was just like no one knew what was going on at that time. And like I experienced my first like loss in my life that I was like, and I'm just an emotional person, like as is. But and so I kind of like, it's like I had all this emotion and I was just feeling like, I guess really what it was is, so it's like loss catapulted this like internal journey that I had. And then through just needing to like poke air holes in it, because I was just feeling so much, art is how I got that out. But then it wasn't really until like the pandemic when I started sharing that like, it was like, oh wait, like people are having a response to this but I remember thinking like, this could just be like my mom telling me I'm pretty, you know, like it's your mom, you know, thanks mom. But it's like, I just didn't know if it was like that. But I still, it was almost so like, I did not care. It was so strong. It sounds so cheesy, but it was like, I've always been like such an intuitive person and like very big on my gut and like,
me too.
Like trusting my, you know, just like your compass, your internal compass that it was so crazy, heavy, clear. Like I didn't even have a choice, but like this was like, I just had to follow this. And it was just kind of like, I look back now and I'm like, that was really what made me decide like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I know that sounds so cheesy.
It's not cheesy.
But it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know how like real that is though when people say that. Cause you're like, okay, cool. But like, give me more. Like, I feel like, okay, we got to be realistic. Like I had to set aside money. You know what I mean? Like I had to, what I did was I saved some money and I got enough commissions banked that I could get by, I could pay rent for a year.
When you say commissions bank, what does that
So
mean?
like it basically means like if like people wanted a painting from me, you know. So I got a list up like of
Hold it
like
close to your face.
I got like a list.
Put it like.
Is it just in front of my face?
Yeah, don't put it like right here. Put
God
it
damn
right
it.
here.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
resting on my tits.
We're gonna.
Okay. You know what? I don't know. I knew when I had like this, it was like an awakening, honestly.
That makes all of the sense in the entire world.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, what did it feel like when you were pursuing something else and it wasn't intuition based?
So this is interesting because the only thing I've ever really pursued, like professionally wise, is this okay?
Yeah.
Professionally wise, is like my production career before. And that, I think I now look back, I confuse that with gut. Like that was through my awakening of like art and creativity and like just like my identity, I realized how much of an operating, like high functioning people pleaser I've been.
Yeah.
Like for so long. And it's confusing because a lot of that like is me. Like, you know, I'm not like intentionally trying to people please.
Yeah.
I just like love to like shoot this.
Connect.
Yeah,
And-
totally. And get
yeah.
in there. And like,
Yeah.
I love the idea of like, I know this person doesn't necessarily feel like we're going to like have a common ground or like we could really realistically be able to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
But like, I love being like, no, we can find a place.
can find
yeah.
one and you
And I
can-
love figuring
yeah.
that out. So I think
Yeah.
some people read that as like, you know, being a schmoozer or like a people pleaser, but like, no, that's genuinely me. So there's that aspect to it. But the whole production piece is like, I knew I wanted to be in a creative industry. I just didn't really know what my creative skill set was. And so I think the production piece of that was totally a byproduct of me being able to like work with people and like knowing how to like read a
Yeah.
room and work with talent
Yeah,
and
and,
like
like, get in that
totally and like
space.
being around a stage and like musicians. Like I loved that adrenaline of it all.
Yeah.
So, but I think like so that felt good because it was more of like looking back on it, it was kind of like an ego serving race of like,
Yep.
how far can I go and how much can I get out of this and how far can I get in this world,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yeah.
That felt good. But now when I actually know what it's like, it's kind of like, I feel like when people like say like, oh, I thought I was in love.
Yes.
But now that I've been in love, I know I wasn't in love.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, it feels like that. So the difference of like, once I had this, like, it wasn't like, oh, let me see how I can apply myself here. It was like, no, I don't have a choice but to, this is just, I'm just going to be, and the rest is going to play out, you know? Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you're saying that because it's what you said in your in the artist statement, which I literally like got emotional reading it.
Oh, that's so nice.
You said, I found art at a time when I felt like I was drowning. Similarly to when someone from Naked and Afraid finds styrofoam and uses it as a flotation device to seek refuge, my styrofoam was and continues to be art. And then you go into talking about your process, which is surrender and allow your subconscious to come through, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm so fascinated by what it feels like when your subconscious is taking over.
Okay, have you ever like meditated?
Yeah.
It's very meditative. It's almost like, or like, and I think this is similar to meditating, but like, have you ever like ridden a motorcycle or like a Vespa?
Yeah.
So I always think about this, like, and might be crazy and might not land, but in my head, this is how it feels. You know, when you're like, you get off of a motorcycle or a Vespa and you're kind of like, whew, I needed that. Because I truly think it's because you were so concentrated while driving, you're having to be like extra alert than you are if you're driving a car.
Yes.
Your subconscious is
Yeah.
not like, you drive a car and you're like, I got this. You do it so much. When you
Yeah.
drive a motorcycle or something like that, you have to like be a different type of invested and like attentive that it takes away it actually is kind of therapeutic because that is meditation, is like getting out of your head
Yeah.
and essentially subconsciously focusing on something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
So it's like painting and like going into that state for me is very similar to where like, and that's what I mean, like the subconscious to come, like to take over, because I am such a heady person, such an analytical person, such a constantly picking things apart, that painting is not that. Like you have to not be that. Like if I picked everything apart, painting wouldn't get done because there are so many little decisions throughout the way.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
color? Where are we putting the color? You know, what's the vision? If I do this, that could end up sabotaging like 8 layers down the road. And it's like, okay, well, if I think like that, none of this shit's gonna get done.
Got it.
You know?
Got it.
That it's like you kind of have to just check out and let it come out. And like, I guess it's like dance probably for some people, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're operating off of, that's the other crazy thing is like, I have this moment all the time. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I literally, like, I stepped away from this the other day and I was like, okay, hell yeah, we got some texture. But I'm like, I don't know how I genuinely, it's so annoying to say, but I don't know how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that is the reinforcement alone. It's like, that's right. It's like the same thing. It's like, you can't do it. You just have to be it. Like, that sounds so cheesy, but like, you have to just, instinct will tell you.
Yeah.
If it's true. And I think that there's the case for a lot of people, maybe like being a mother or, you know, being a leader in whatever it is you do. Like, if you can find that, like, and let that lead you, it's gut, you know?
What other areas of your life have you been able to utilize
That
skill of the gut?
I really, the
Decision-making.
only other thing I can think about is my sexuality,
Yeah.
really.
So
or
how did
like
the two
just
play
like, yeah.
there.
Because it's so, I'm realizing like I don't know where I am on the spectrum of that, but like right now I have a girlfriend and I love her and I feel like I am at a place where like it's been so hard for me to accept that as my current and my future and like who knows what my future holds, but like the idea of being with a woman is like been very, not hard for me in the way that like I don't not want that or I'm fine with it. It's just like I have so much internalized and like, and it's not even like I mean, it's internalized homophobia, and it's not even like I love my parents. I had the best upbringing. My parents are so accepting. They're so great. But it just goes to show like just my upbringing of like the people I were around, like, you know, being an observer that I am and an absorber.
Yep.
I have like really had to work on shedding a lot of that. And that translates to the painting because it's just like art. If I'm tense, here's another metaphor I always use for this.
I'm a metaphor.
Okay,
so
great.
please.
Tell me if you get this.
Yeah.
But it's like, in order to float in water, you have to surrender. Think about it. If you think about floating, when you're in water and you just want to float,
Yeah.
if you're thinking about floating, you will not float. It never works.
Oh, I love that so much.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I know.
You have to fully surrender and like, it's weird. There's nothing else in life I can't really think about. I imagine birth being the same. You can probably, maybe, I don't know.
guess so,
Or
yeah.
unless they just induce a bunch of shit in you and it's just popping out. You're shit and you're doing it all.
Right.
But I guess the metaphor is like, in floating is like, in order to float, you have to fully surrender and let go. And it's like, and then let that stream, like the stream, if you're, you know, floating in a river or whatever, let it take you where you just focus on floating. And in order to float, you kind of can't focus.
Yep.
You have to focus on a certain type of, you know what I mean? But it's not like the taught type of focus. Anyways.
The taught type of focus.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you mean.
So-
It's not the typical.
Yeah, it's not the traditional
focus that
way.
people are like,
exactly.
Like,
if you do
fucking pay
this, then you
attention.
will float.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yes.
It's like, I think that's the whole irony of it all. And like,
Yep.
so it's similar to painting in terms of like my identity and sexuality and just like kind of unraveling all these different parts of me is like, it's the same thing. In order to, it's like confusing, you know, intuition with conditioned thought in a way.
Yes.
You know? And so it's like, totally, it's like becoming limp to the operating inward, outward, as opposed to outward, inward.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It makes total fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I think too, especially with the sexuality thing, when you were talking about like internalized homophobia, like from my experience, like I was like, had a great family, very accepting and all the things. But the fact of the matter is like, we still grew up in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so it's not just your family. Like if your family's accepting, then it's a breeze. It's we grew up in the world that was early 2000s. So all of those moments, I mean, even being a kid and going to the mall when you're a kid and you see a million people, they're all straight people. Like, could you imagine if the world was the other way? and
No,
was
like it is now.
A homosexual
But
forward world? Like,
so did
instead
you
of
know
hetero.
that you were gay early on? Like when did you know?
Hindsight, 2020, obviously. Like I look back at moments and I'm like, oh, I had a moment in 7th grade when I saw, I was watching Glee with my mom.
Okay.
And I saw
Classic.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Saw two women dancing together and they were gay. And it was two femme women. So it was like
Right.
representation, right?
Right.
It wasn't like we had Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen
See,
at that
because
point.
that's so funny. Like I remember even thinking like in high school having a moment like, could I be? And
Yeah.
then thinking, no, because I'm not Butch.
Because I'm not Ellen, I'm not Butch.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so seeing those two feminine women, which I was at the time, it literally like something inside me said like me too.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
interesting.
I was so enamored by their dancing. Like it was so beautiful to me. And I like, so
Yeah.
that was a moment. And then from there, it was like, I locked it up and I was like, oh, we're doing absolutely nothing about that. And
Yeah.
then like 10 years later, I finally like came out through writing and through art and like
Wow.
through like writing scripts. That was the only way that I was going to do it, because I was like very similar with acting. Like I'm not going to be able to be the actor that I want to be unless I come out, because if I'm lying to myself, you can't access the emotion.
So yeah, you totally get it. That's floating.
Yes.
If you weren't,
Yes.
you had to
Yeah.
surrender to it all in order to show up, and it actually, the current take you where you're supposed. You know what I mean?
So like when you're working on a painting, like, because obviously you're churning out these like pieces of art, right? How do you stay disciplined if it's something that's so intuitive? And what happens when shit hits the fan and like, let's say you're in a bad mood or you're dealing with something?
I mean, that's kind of, it's hard because every piece is so different. Like, is it, it's so situational too. Like, is it a commission where I don't really have much emotional involvement in it, or is it something that like I just really need to do for myself? Like the thing that I do try to stick to is, and I've done this ever since, is if I have projects for people that, are already lined up, I space it out to where I do something for myself in between them. Because if I don't, I will go crazy. And then I start to resent the whole process, and that comes out in my, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you have to be, I have to show up like as purely myself to do it. If not, then it'll come out in the outcome. You know what I mean?
I think like that's what I love about like your stuff so much is like you're just like exploring. It's like this it's subconsciously.
Can you pick that up? That's so interesting.
Pick what up?
Like that, you get that from it?
Yes.
That's wild. That's so like, I guess such a parallel to my real life too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that I just feel like I'm just exploring as a human. Like,
it feels like it's like Alice in Wonderland a little bit. Like and not in the sense of the visuals of it, but the feeling of it. That feeling of like freedom and almost like you're falling down a, like, I don't know, like a tunnel of some sort, to be like, you are totally free to explore whatever.
I love that you picked that up, because that's my experience. It's like, that's what I feel.
Yeah. So specifically speaking of like your art, you have this handwriting that I think is so interesting. It's like this like chicken scratch a little bit.
That's
and
what I always call it.
Isn't offensive by calling
No,
your
I call it chicken scratch. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
But like, where did that come from? Is that how you normally write?
It's not how I normally write. I think it comes from the child, like, inside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
That's why
let's go.
That's why I love
Fucking
it.
child.
Like, let's go, inner child.
No, but I do feel like that, because I think that whole, like, that's where I start whenever I have a hard time. Like, there's certain things I like. It is such a mindset for me before I paint. Like, and I'm not in it, like you said earlier, like if something's going on or you're in a bad mood, I have to get into that. And sometimes it's easier to get into that, and sometimes it's harder. But like one of the things I like that like exercise or else I use is like, if I can't get to it, it's like totally going into my child self, like, because it's like connecting with that is like the ultimate source of, like I've said to friends before, like I think it's so important for everyone to find their thing that like makes you feel like I read this Mark Cuban like book or whatever, and something he said, he was like, try to find something that you can do for hours, and then you come out of it and you thought it was 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes, but you thought it was like 7 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, no, other way around. It's been 7 hours,
but you thought it was 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like yes to that, but also like something that like you feel you're doing something. Like when I'm in here and I'm working, I feel like I'm a little kid under my sheets with a flashlight. Like, you know what I mean? Like with like that feeling when you're a kid and you're just like, you just built a fort or I don't know.
And time doesn't matter.
Yes, but as an adult, no one has that anymore.
Yeah.
That's never that feeling of like, and understandably so, people don't have it. We have responsibilities, people have families or whatever, partners, like, and our life, and we just grow up. But I think that is so important if you can get to that feeling.
Yeah.
And whatever sparks that feeling, like that is it. Like that's it. That's
and then
it.
You go,
and then you go
towards that.
Yeah, totally.
when you were talking earlier about like you were saying the specifics of like you were talking about intuitively wise, and like you were like it happened, and then you kind of like shifted out into like your thinking, and you were like, oh, but like, but what does that actually mean?
Right,
really?
right,
Like,
right.
And then you started talking about the specifics of like, well, I had to do the X, Y, and Z. But what I think is so interesting is that it's like you can make big leaps and bounds and do those crazy things where it's like, or do this full time or move because your intuition was oh, we're lined up. We're good to go.
But it's like people think that's
explain.
No, it's totally hard to explain. But here we go to another analogy. But it's like, how is it any different for how many people could you go out and find that like have married someone and you're like, how did you know?
Yeah,
that was the one.
Yeah.
I mean, people have such a hard time understanding that for a job and a or just something outside of you. People only can equate it to someone else.
Right.
It's when someone else, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, how can you find that for yourself? Like, and like, can it be the same? Like, I know like in therapy, I used to kind of work through, like my therapist said that one time. She's like, I was explaining all this stuff and all my fear. And she was like, well, how would you explain your art?
Wow.
And I was like, that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
Because that is it.
Right.
So then from then on, I've gone to when I'm in that state, when I'm painting, I ask myself all these questions. And if in that state, I can clearly answer, like, calm down, breathe, go, like, just keep whacking the weeds,
Yeah.
If I can answer in that state, I'm like, then that's it. So that's why I always check in with myself in that, like, because I try to use that.
Have there ever been times where you, like, what is the...
I hope it works.
Yeah, it fucking works. Well, I also, that kind of leads me to my, like, next question. I'm curious about, like you just had, was it Miranda Lambert? She, like, bought one of your
did you
paintings?
see that?
Dude, yeah.
That was
nuts.
hysterical. Her stylist followed me, and then she reached out and said, we need to get me and the band want to get her a birthday gift, and we want to can you do this painting? Because she saw something I did. And so I said, sure.
Was there a moment when you like hit it where you were like, oh fuck, overnight, like I have 15,000 followers? Or was it like a slow build?
No, it was a slow build. I think I knew, so I started in COVID, and like just from my own personal account, I think I got like 200 followers. Because I posted on my personal account, like, hey, I'm going to stop posting art, like my like little stuff, because I know you guys probably don't care. So I'm going to do it over here. And if you do care, come over here. Because I didn't want to like be that person that's like, in COVID, I got a side hustle, and everyone's like, congrats, you're baking fucking cookies, So I did that. And then, so it's like, once I saw that, I was like, okay, but these are all my friends. Like my friends care, cool.
Right.
But then it was like, once I started posting it and like strangers started comment, or sending me messages, I was like, that's when I was like, okay, maybe there's like, maybe
there's something here.
Maybe people care. I don't know. From a point of like, really for me, it's like, oh, people care. It's just motivation for me to know I don't have to go back to a desk job. That's why I care about the followers. But like, other than that, it's just, and it's not even that many, whatever. I'm appreciative that people like, because people care, I can continue to do this.
Right.
And that's I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. This is lame to say, like this far into the interview, but I fucking love your art so much.
Thank you so much.
I am like, I'm not really an art person. Like I'm not
Neither am I.
I remember
Seriously, though.
One of my first dates I ever went on with a girl, she like took me to the MoMA and we like stared at this photo, and similar to what you were mentioning before, she was just like, oh, you can like just feel it.
Yes, I didn't know people have
like,
this response.
Huh. Also, this is random.
Yeah.
Sandlot. Are you a fan of the Sandlot?
Bitch, L7 Weenie, are you kidding?
Okay,
yes.
amazing. Because I saw one of your pieces that said like,
oh, you play ball like a girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that.
Wait, I just found that file. Before you leave, let's try to print. I was gonna make a print of that.
Oh my God.
Let's try it. I'll give it to you whenever we leave.
Seriously?
Yeah, we don't know if it's gonna look good, but we'll try it before you go.
Okay,
It'll
great.
take like 10 minutes.
I would be so fucking
Okay, yeah,
jazzed.
we'll try. We'll do the tester.
Okay, cool. So is it okay if we go into like talking a little bit about your grief journey?
Totally.
So, do you have a piece of art that you go back to and it kind of like it's hard to look at?
That's the only thing that I actually have had like an emotional response, but I just feel like it's so personal.
Yeah.
So that's why I would, but like when we talk about not having an emotional response.
Yes.
But yes, I do. And it's in my parents' house, and it's a giant face that I did one night when I guess there's two, but really that one, because that's like a piece. The other was like on computer paper all over my wall, kind of like those two faces. But only because of the timing. Like it was really, it's not because it's like the piece is amazing or whatever. But yeah, the one in my parents' house, probably.
Yeah. Is it kind of like when you listen to, like I can't listen to the Blonde album?
Yes, because it takes you back to a certain time.
Yes.
Yes, it's like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that you were talking about the floating metaphor before, because in your artist statement you said like I found art at a time when I was drowning. So like, can you drop us into that moment? Like, what were you feeling?
I was just feeling like, so again, it was my friends and I, we lost two of our dear, dear friends in 2 years. And one of them was like my very best friend, Lainey. And then COVID happens. And then right after COVID, my cousin who was my age and lived here passed away. So it was just like a lot happening. So it was like, first, my friend dies from gun violence. You know, she was at a concert in Kansas City at a food truck. A fight breaks out 500 yards away. She's with her boyfriend. A guy pulls out a gun in the fight and shoots off some rounds, like blank, like just, and one travels 500 yards past 100 people, hits her right in the head. So she dies, and it was like during the time when, like, it's crazy to say this, gun violence was like a really big thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. We have shootings and now, but this was like at the time where like, I don't know what,
It was hot.
20.
It was a hot
Yeah. I don't, right. Like at work, I could be all over the TVs. It was like
Yes.
a school shooting every other night that it was just like, what is this? Like, it just feels like a Twilight Zone. I'm like,
Yes.
you know, like, and then the
Weird.
world shutting down. Like, you don't think you're ever going to get like, you know, affected by something like that. And then you do. And then it's like, what? I just feel like I couldn't escape this. Like, what world are we living in? Like, what is going on? Nothing's real. Every adult that's telling you anything actually doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yes.
We're all on an even playing field for like kind of the first time in a sense of like social intelligence and what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And then, and then I get told that my best friend only has a couple. That one went off.
You know what? That's fine,
Whatever.
because we can pull these.
Okay. I was told that, like, basically that the time was running out with one of my best friends. So it was just kind of feeling like I was sandwiched between, like, bad news and, like, when's the next shoe gonna drop kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then, and that, like, kind of meshed with, like, my job I was not feeling satisfied with my job. I was completely, like, micromanaged and, like, just felt, like, very corporate, not really doing anything that, like, just stopped, like, feeding my, like, creativity that I needed. That in that moment, I just felt the drowning piece was just like, I started questioning my sexuality. I just felt like for the first time I had, like, for someone who prided themselves on knowing who they were and like being so sure of myself, I actually had no fucking idea what, I mean, I always knew my gut, but it was like everything that I was packaged in. And like, if I had like, it was like, I always would say like, I'm just, whenever I was trying to figure it out, and I'm still figuring it out, but like, it's like I just need to do a giant inventory check. Like I had this warehouse full of shit and I don't really know what it all is. Like I need to go through box by box. What am I keeping? What am I throwing out? And that's kind of like, the drowning piece, I felt just like very like anxious, depressed, and just kind of like, I don't have a grasp on anything. Like, so let's go through this, like all of the shit that we've accumulated inside, go through it all, figure it out, and then like figure out what the hell we're doing. But art was what really, that was like the styrofoam being my flotation device, was like, I grabbed onto that and the time that I was drowning to kind of help me navigate out of that space, if that makes sense.
So what would that look like for you?
Like what, like the, getting out of it?
Is that you going into your room and painting for hours?
Yeah, I think, literally hours.
Yeah.
And I felt like, but that was all a product of following this art, because in doing that, I just needed time alone. Like, I just like felt like I just need to not, like, I have to just be with myself. I can't like entertain anyone else right now. I have to just like go into my room, put my headphones on and just create. As long as I like, I mean, it was just like, I was like, my sleep is all messed up or whatever. But, and I'm saying in the height of it, like when it first started.
Right.
Now it's like my social life's all good and like there's a work-life balance or whatever.
Yeah.
But when that was happening, I was just kind of like, I just completely kind of like isolated and like, was like, I had to go in and I kind of became obsessed because I felt like I have this, let's figure out how to fucking make it go. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like creating art was it like an escape from grief, or was it a way to like transmute
I think
through
both.
the grief?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think initially it was an escape, and that's why I was so drawn to it.
Yeah.
Because it would turn my brain off. Like
turn your brain
you
off.
know, like some people,
Yes.
maybe running's like that for you.
Yes. Yeah,
So I know
exactly.
people feel like that about working out. I haven't gotten there yet, but like it's very similar to that. So you're just like, I don't know. I feel so like I'm just gonna burst. Like I gotta go on a fucking run. Like
I gotta
go. I just gotta shut the door and just draw on the wall.
Yeah. So when do you know when a painting is finished?
That's so hard. I feel like it's just a feeling, and I know that's crazy and annoying to say, but it really is just a feeling. And then sometimes it's really just like, okay, I can't spend any more fucking time on this because life's got to move on.
See, I think that's why I love your art so much, is because it's not as like,
Heady.
it's not as heady.
No, I think it's more the process for me that's so heady, if that makes sense. The piece
what
is
part of the
whatever ends
process?
up on the wall is whatever. But the process of just like, it's literally an exercise every time I do it, which is like, maybe you feel like this is running before you're on your run. The beginning, I'm guessing here. I don't know if I'm asking. The beginning, middle, and end is so different probably of each run.
Yeah.
Maybe?
100%.
And you're able to, in the middle, kind of, you equate it to your last run or every other run.
Yes.
Maybe. Or I'm
Yes.
feeling tighter here. I don't know. My head's,
Great.
you know?
Great. That's a great metaphor. It's also
So
that's
that's just what
like
I'm,
that.
yeah, it's like that. Like,
I feel like podcasting is a lot similar to painting too. Again, not an artist,
Yeah.
but as I was like thinking about this talk this week, and in the sense that it's like people get so nervous about like these conversations because they're like, oh, what do I talk about? What do I not talk
Yeah.
about? What if I'm not feeling like
No, you
good
just
in the
jump in.
beginning?
Yeah.
Because it's like you throw shit at the wall, and then there's the whole process is like there's the recording, but then the editing process
Right.
is when you take things away. You it's like making a sculpture.
Yeah.
Like you have the block, and then whatever is left
chipping away. Yeah.
to end. And that's where like my like second favorite part of the process of podcasting too is like
The post
the
of it all.
flow.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, you
like
mean
being
it?
in editing and like
So
this
fun.
moment and that moment. That's where
That's kind of like the sheet over your head with the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you're back there and you're just like,
and time just fucking
totally. I
flies.
love that you feel that.
Yeah, my business coach who I love so much. She calls it like your what is it called? Zone of genius.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
like that is painting
Zone
for
of
you is your
genius.
zone of genius.
Yeah.
So
it's like the piece doesn't. That's what I would like. That you get that. It's like the clip that you end up sharing
Yeah.
or being
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
isn't as much of the emotional. It's more the experience you had doing it. You know.
it's so
I
fun.
don't know. And like, I feel like you learn so much through your conversations and
Yeah.
like you have epiphanies of your own stuff by the conversations that you have. It's the same with a
Yeah.
piece.
I'm learning so much about intuition. Like that's something that I've been like really, really leaning into in the past few months.
tell me
Like,
more.
For the past like 2 months, I've been listening to this podcast or this like speech. I found it on YouTube.
What is it? I
randomly
already
one
know I
day.
need it.
It's called "Everything Always Works Out for You," and it's basically a speech that this guy gave.
Is it Alan Watts?
How do you know that?
Because
How the fuck
dude,
do you know this?
I fucking love. Wait, is that what it is?
That's it.
Yes,
It's Alan
I
Watts.
used to listen to that all the time, and you can't find it
What?
anywhere but YouTube.
You can't. No, wait. I literally have the chills
Hold
right
on.
now, Lily.
You have to read this. Wait, I don't know which one. It's not this one.
The book.
I'm guessing you've read Daring Greatly.
I have not actually.
Alan Watts, bitch. I love Alan Watts.
Wait,
and Alan Watts is
It's still, I'm still in frame.
shit. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay,
we're good.
okay. Wait, it's Alan Watts.
It's
I know
literally
exactly what you're talking
the
about.
YouTube video? How
Yes.
did you fucking find
Dude,
this?
because we have been on the same journey. You're just like you
What
need
the
something.
fuck?
It's so like
We have been
it's
literally
like if
parallel
you. Yes,
reading.
I know.
Fucking Alex Cooper
It's like
the past 2
gardening and like
weeks.
literally, it's like Alan Watts is incredible.
Okay, I know.
That's wild. Is it Alan Watts? Is that the
Dude,
one I'm thinking of?
yes, it is literally Alan Watts.
have
and
you
he's giving
listened to
a
any
speech-
of his other stuff?
No. This is the thing. I don't know who he is.
Okay.
I know absolutely nothing about him. I decided, like, this was in January.
I love
read
that
this
that was right.
YouTube.
That's
That is-
crazy.
no, like this, I'm flipping out right
That's
now.
crazy.
I cannot wait to tell my friend Hannah because I've listened to the
It's-
same YouTube video for the past 3 months.
I gotta,
That's totally
this is
fine.
silent. No, we're starting over because this is that just totally blocked. God, hold for silent.
Wait, also, we're good.
We're fine. Sorry. That's
no,
crazy,
you're good.
dude.
In January, I think it was like January 20th, I looked at this YouTube video. I listened to the first 10 minutes, and there was this part of it that the whole video blew my mind. And I sent it to my business coach, and I was like, I wonder what would happen in my life if I listened to this every single day for the next 90 days. And she said, let's find out. So it's been like 3 months, and every day I listen to this same
Dude, I used to listen to that. It pumps you up.
Dude, it's what if life was a dance?
Yes.
And you are the dancer.
And you're oh my God, you got to read. You got to, he has so much stuff and it's so good.
That makes
you just
all the
scratched
sense
the
in
surface
the world.
with this.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to me
that is
you
like the
resonate with
seed.
that.
Wow, I just loved that. That was crazy.
Yeah, like my friend Hannah's gonna flip the fuck out because I literally listen to it every single day. And I was actually I ran a race recently and my legs fucking like blew out 2 miles with 2 miles left. My legs totally blew out, cramped up, couldn't move, like whatever. And my two friends were like holding me, like pulling me, right? And my one friend was like, say the speech, do the speech that you listen to every morning.
Cute
How
for
fucking
him.
adorable is that?
I
so
love
I'm like
her.
crying, like, what if life was a dance?
That's so
to do it.
sweet.
I know. But what's crazy is I don't remember like anything about
Yeah, I'm
the
sure
speech.
you
Like,
don't.
I totally just talk about subconscious.
That's crazy though.
But
I believe that though. That's like manifesting.
are you a visual person?
Yeah. Why?
I'm just curious if it translates into like your art, like when you're painting. Like if you're using the visuals or if it's just like you're totally shut off.
No. I mean, I have a reference photo usually, always.
Really?
Yeah. So it depends on what piece. Sometimes I just go straight.
Yeah.
But like this or like any like, usually there's a reference photo because I have to base it off of that.
So what makes you want to like go all in on a piece of art if it's not for somebody else or commission for work?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like this was completely all in, still going all in, and like I'm obsessing over it. And I think it's really just like seeing something and being like, that would be so cool on a wall. And like, but also like, how do I get something to like jeans have so much texture to them and everyone knows the texture, you know, but it's only like jeans have that texture. Right? It's so distinct to something that I was like, how cool would it be to like try to like really nail that in? And that is, I think everything that I end up wanting is kind of subconscious because that is something I like. I'm very like attentive to detail and certain details. And like, I don't know. I think it is partly subconscious that like that texture is something I know so well about that like, it'd be like, I don't know, like what's something. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. But point is it's kind of like picking one thing to try to master and like obsessing over the process of how to, I think I love just like, I don't know how to do that. Let's figure it out. And like, I love that like, you know what I mean? That challenge of just like, let's figure this out and see what comes out. I don't know.
Do you think would you ever describe yourself as a workaholic?
I don't think I'm a workaholic. I think I don't know. It's weird because I'm like, I wish I could figure out a better way of doing it. I don't know how to, I feel like I've always been this way. It's like I work. Like, so it's like I obsess and like I fuck up my sleep schedule and everything. And I do that and then I stop and then I like don't do anything for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
So it's kind of like when I'm working, sure I can be, but when I'm not, no.
Right. So to kind of like pull this full circle, since this is the What's Your Block podcast and since we're going to kind of be wrapping up here, do you have a block these days? Like, what do you think the block that you struggle with is?
My block these days, just in any, like, just
anything.
I've got so many blocks. And then I've got blocks that like I've like chipped down to where there's like a rock now of it, you know?
Yeah.
So like, but like a full block? Great question. Well, I mean, the future of how my life's going to look was one. Another one is this, like, I think, but I'm always going to live with it. And I think it's like everyone has this of like self-doubt in what I'm doing, you know? Like, or, oh, I'm not really that good to be making a full-time living doing this. You know, there's like the self-sabotage.
Yeah. Yep.
That will always be there, I think. But
Where
I
do you
don't
think
know.
that
Give
come
me
from?
one of yours. I want some inspiration.
I'm curious, like, where do you think that self-sabotage comes from?
I think me not having any like credentials for this, maybe. And also just like, I was horrible at school. There was like constantly like this idea in my head of like, oh, you're not intelligent, or like, and I always knew and thankfully my mom was such a champion of this. Like I could have easily gone another way, but like, she's constantly like, there's so many different types of intelligence. Like school is just one but I think that like growing up in the environment that I did, where like, it was like such a, I don't know, private
Upper middle
school.
class
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
vibe.
Like kind of like my shtick was like, oh, Lily, and it kind of
Yes.
still is like,
Yes.
oh, there's our right brain girl,
Yes.
oh, Brooklyn, and it's like,
Yeah.
I think that there's still that piece to me that like, probably when you really like get down to it, it's probably just worthiness,
Yeah.
but kind of like this. Yeah. I don't know.
You do know. You literally just said it, and that's
Yeah.
the most relatable thing in the entire fucking world, especially because when you grow up in that type of environment where these are the things that are considered what success is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You learned to own being yourself
Mm-hmm.
and having that emotional intelligence and being outgoing and being able to like connect with people, and that's amazing and that's like fucking awesome. But like, of course, there's going to be this part of you that, even though as this like successful, fucking awesome, amazing artist that you are, like without the credentials or whatever it might be, like it's almost like the haunted ghost that kind of like follows you. Is that like
Right.
like,
Yeah.
fair to say?
Yeah. Kind of.
Like
I
don't
get
know,
it.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
it just like, I guess all of this to say is
Yes.
that like it makes a
right.
lot of
That's
sense.
a haunted ghost. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, the haunted ghost is the idea of like credentials or whatever it is, and the worthiness piece, which kind of reminds me of what you mentioned before about art school and wondering like what would my path have been like if I had gone to art school.
Right.
What do you think it would be?
Well, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. I think it's kind of hard to say because so much of my personal life had to happen for me to even know, you know? Like, I don't think my interest in art could have ever let it. Like, I think my like journey in myself had to, like, something had to happen inside of me to like unlock it, and then that, lead or open the door to my interest in art, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting too, because I feel like now, but more than ever, like if you think about it, like 5 years ago, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without like Instagram, really. I mean, before artists had to go to a gallery, like, and then they take 50% commission. Like, so I feel like there's all these different like degrees of artists now that like, that's another block is like, oh, I'm just like on Instagram and like selling art that's not really art,
Yeah.
But then I'm like, who fucking cares? Like it's
It's just so different
we're going
from
through whacking those weed, like whatever
Yes.
it is.
right. And but that pressure from being in the forest,
Right.
it's like it's never going to go away, and it's just, it makes it hard.
It's anxiety.
Yeah.
You want another analogy?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I've been thinking about this too. It's like I've been trying to compartmentalize anxiety as just one of your best friend's little sisters.
Tell me more. I
Because
fucking
think
love
about this. When you love your best friend, you want to hang out with them, but like, I don't know, mom couldn't take them to carpool today or something. And so we have to hang out with the sister, and the sister's so fucking annoying. But
we're
you
so
end up making it, you end up being like, okay, I'm going to have like, yeah, she's here, but like, I'm not going to still not have fun with my friend. Do you know what I mean?
That is,
I think that's anxiety.
no, like without a doubt.
Like,
that's fucking
fuck, you're
brilliant.
here? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know. Yes.
I wasn't in the mood for you to be here, but like, I'm not
you're
going to let
here.
you ruin my shit. You're just my,
Yes. See, what like that does to me is like it just like releases it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, anxiety already sucks
Right.
as is. So like instead of like pushing it
Giving
away,
it the power. Yeah.
that gives it even more power, and you're giving your power away. So instead of just being like you're just the annoying little sister, it kind of like minimizes it in a healthy way.
Yeah. Don't you think it's good?
All right, dude, that's fucking brilliant.
Thank you. I thought that was a good one. I was thinking about that and I was like, that is it.
That's exactly what it is.
But it's helpful. I don't know.
Yes.
It's like your analogy with going through the woods. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that would probably be a block, just anxiety for
Yes.
sure. But then I laugh because I'm like, this wouldn't be what it is without my anxiety, you know?
In what
But
way?
just that like, if I didn't have any like emotional, like, I don't want to say depth because that's like self whatever, but like,
Say
I
it.
mean it in like the sense that like, like if I just was like an even keel,
Yep.
like my girlfriend's like that. And I never dated someone like that ever. And I think that's why it maybe works a little bit is like, because I am so all over the place that like, but that I think if I didn't jump from those moods, I wouldn't know the contrast between them all to then bring it together and make it, you know,
What
say
it is.
something or have the curiosity to think about things more, you know, or explore them in a way to explore, i.e. through art. That makes sense.
It makes so much sense. It just has me thinking, like, I think that's really, this sounds lame, but it's like really brave to be able to like let yourself go here and here and here and here. I said this recently, like, and again, another metaphor, but like on Monday, I was journaling, I was writing, and I was thinking about my day, and I was like, I was sad today, and I had a fucking great day. And it reminded me of, dare I say it, paints. Because I was like, I'm picturing like the primary colors where it's like red, orange, green, yellow, you know, and I just love self-help, obviously. And I was like, in being in the self-help world and just like engrossing
I
myself
love
in
self-help.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pursuing like a career as a self-help leader, right? Like before, I think in my 20s, I was really trying to almost like eliminate the other emotions so that I would reach that pinnacle and be worthy enough to be a leader in this
Totally,
career
yeah.
when I am only happy. When I am only happy. But then I was like, why the most beautiful fucking colors to me? Like, look at that color right there, that blue. And it's not just blue.
Right.
It's blue with a little bit of yellow.
Right,
and a little
right,
bit of
right,
red.
right. Yeah.
And so it's like that beautiful color. Like, I want
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
You know, I want that mixture of them for the contrast,
Yeah.
you know, instead of just green.
Totally.
Or just red or just
Yeah.
yellow. So
God, life would be so boring if you just did the green that just was given to you.
doesn't it feel like everyone's trying to like low key get there? Where it's like, oh, I want to be happy. I just
Oh,
want to be happy.
totally. I think it's like, well, when the house is, you know, clean, then I'll get
Yeah.
it done. It's like,
Yeah.
you got to make friends with the fact that you got to just get it done and the house might not, you know what I mean? It might be
Yeah.
clean some days, it might not be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Like it's totally. But I think that's I think that's like comes up so much in like dating too for people when they're like,
Yep.
well, they didn't have da. It's like, there's all these fucking credentials and here I am saying what was just talking about being insecure about. But I think, yeah, for sure. I think the beauty lies in like, it's just like your podcast and the conversation. Like, you know, you're going in with the colors you have, but what you're going to come out with, you might add another because you just got to let it go, you know?
Yes. Amazing.
But yeah, I totally get that.
yeah. What were you going to say?
I'm just laughing at you getting home and plugging in your computer and just being all metaphors. Like every answer, it's like, well, and you know that reminds me.
And this relates to this
Right.
metaphor and this, but like I'm such a
You get back
visual-
and they're so bad.
It's just
They're just
all-
horrible
all
metaphors.
Wild, dude, no, I'm such a fan of wild metaphors. If there was a podcast out there that I was listening to and I was like, it was just literally like two queer women just talking about metaphors and art and self-help the whole time, I'd be like, I'll listen to that.
Let's do it.
Not me tooting my own fucking horn.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. But before we go, is there anything else that you would want people to know about?
Oh, I was
you?
wanting to ask you questions. Can I ask you questions?
Yeah, you can ask me a question. You can ask me anything you want.
Okay, what's a block for you right now? And no, nothing else I want people to know about me.
Nothing at all.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
You can figure out enough.
Okay, well.
I don't know. Anything else? Answering that question feels so vain.
How? Yeah,
I
get
want
it, I get
you
it. I
to
want
know
you to
about me.
All right.
You know
Shitty
what I
question.
Okay, right?
Okay, yes.
Not
But
a shitty
as-
question, but shitty question. No, I'm kidding.
For anyone who this is lame, but like for anyone who is also
It's not
wanting
lame.
to find, you gotta stop saying cheesy and I gotta stop saying
You're
lame.
right.
We have to stop.
All right, self-help.
Stop doing that shit.
That's a block of mine.
A block of mine is being cringe. So being cringe right now is something that I'm really working on
I'm
Instagram.
stealing that. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So like as I've had this like new era of like pursuing Instagram and social media and stuff.
It's hard.
It's hard because I was like, I feel like if I really go for it, I'm going to get judged by the people who I'm closest with. And like, they're going to think like that I'm so weird or that I'm a loser or like like, okay, what is Carrie running doing on like TikTok right now?
Right.
Like, okay,
Okay,
sis, like,
Carrie.
Yo, sick.
Oh, here she goes.
You know, yeah. And
I resonate with that so much. That should have been my block. Yeah.
well, it's both of our blocks.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, but one of the things about me is like, I am cheesy. I am fucking cringe.
You know
and,
what?
Like, that's me trying, and this is me like, I'm trying to be who I actually am on social media instead of the cool girl who's
Totally
like whatever, you know.
Okay, two things to that, I'd say.
Yeah.
One, it goes back to the operating inward outward as opposed to outward inward. If you're just operating inward outward, then anyone who comments on that is someone that works with primary colors. Lives with primary colors, I mean.
Dude, you're a genius. That's so good.
No, but that's what I tell myself. And that's what you got to use. And I don't want, okay, someone that lives with primary colors is going to give me shit. Like, it's like a fat coach telling you to run. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, fuck them.
Like, you literally
No,
fuck
it's
'em.
so hard, but you have to
no-
somehow, I have to somehow validate that in my head to be like, I have to like genuinely feel like, fuck you, for me to like actually do it, or else the fear of cringe is too big for me to do so. You know what I mean?
Because is that what you feel when people will like judge you for
I feel
your
that every time
art?
I post something. Wow. But then I'm
But
like,
it's so cool. Your
well,
shit
you
is so
think that,
good.
but same. That's why you got to post. I think you're so good at talking to people. You are such a good connector, and you're so like genuinely curious and hungry for like emotional like growth that I don't think that is such a humanizing and vulnerable thing, or a vulnerable thing that is so humanizing that like, if someone's gonna knock that, then they really don't have the skills to go inward. And I'm sorry, that's sad.
Whoa.
But I'm just saying,
I
like,
needed to hear that.
that's the most, in my opinion, that is the most resignating quality in someone that someone can have, whether they choose to share it or not, is like the big, like, whoa, that's too vulnerable. That's too vulnerable. And it's like, well, okay, what else are we all doing? We're sitting at home having the same fears, having the same questions, having the same like blocks, you
Right,
know?
So let's just like put it out there.
I just think that yours, the way that you talk about mine, I'm laughing because I'm hearing you talk about with yours. That's exactly how I feel. But you just get up and listen to fucking Alan Watts. And you know what? Sometimes I'll just post, if something makes me like so scared, cringe, and I'm like, because I actually feel like this actually is cringe, I'll just post it anyways just to shut that voice up.
There's just and
Be
do you
cringe.
feel like
Just
it does?
do it just to be
do
like,
it?
fuck you.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I actually did that on Sunday where I literally posted a run thought, and then I was like, I sound like I'm on cocaine and talking.
No,
at
that's
people.
what resonates. People love that. That's real. Also, it's like, you just gotta stop taking yourself seriously because it's all a fucking game.
And
I'm
you're
not
paying. You're
do you know what I
playing
mean?
the game.
Yeah.
You're playing the fucking
Right.
game. And so it's like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, that's.
I don't know.
I respect the shit out of it. I respect the shit.
Well, thank you. I don't know. I'm saying it to you as like a friend that like, dude, I get it.
Yeah.
And all the stuff I'm saying it like I know how to fix the problem. I don't. I'm just trying to share this, like the things that my head has come up with.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Because I feel so, I like totally relate to that. It's so real. But my thing is I think everyone feels that, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. It's scary.
So that must be it. Cause not and I.
But dude, not everyone would show up in their car with all this equipment and come like interview a stranger. So I just think it's funny. Like most people would be like, you know, maybe, oh, Carrie. It's like, no, yeah, fuck yeah. Carrie's being Carrie.
Fuck yeah.
Do you know what I mean though?
Also, I know exactly
You're
what
good.
you mean,
Just
number
go.
one.
Do it.
Just fucking go.
Just do it.
I also want to share with everyone that Lily and I have never met.
Oh, wait, we never started with that.
Yeah.
We've never met.
We've literally.
I feel like I know you though.
We are
And that's
childhood
why-
best friends.
Literally.
Childhood best friends.
Right.
We must have known each other in like a past life or something like that. Because truly.
No, truly. And that's why when you messaged me to do this, I was like, one, like, hell yeah, this sounds fun. Two, yeah, because I just need to meet you because I feel like I know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've like just
100%.
wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
I have never gotten cringe from your stuff, if that makes you feel better.
That does make me feel better.
No, but like seriously, as someone who doesn't know you and I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does.
No.
It does mean something more from someone.
It kind of does.
from someone that has no bias
Yes,
or anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Cheers. Wait. Okay. Hold on. I have another question.
Yeah.
Where are you right now in your like where are you right now in like where you are, where you've been, but where you want to go journey?
I think this past year has been like, that's a great question, by the way.
Thank you so much.
No one has ever asked me questions on my podcast, so I absolutely
Sorry, is
love
this
that.
okay?
No, it's
Okay,
are you
I gotta
kidding me?
know.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, you need to pay.
So
People need to
genuine.
know about you too. I'm serious.
Thank you. No, I think this past year has been like a lot about the things that I am not. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I had to remove a lot of relationships in my life, remove where I lived. I had to like whittle my life down to almost like the bare bones of like who I am as a person, because I was so fogged up that I remember like just looking in the mirror and being like, I don't even fucking like you, man. Like, I don't even fucking like you. I don't even know you. And even being baseline a positive person who loves self-help and all of these stuff, it was just, if this is like me and like I'll call it the voice, whatever, up here, and that is a path, it was like
So foggy.
So I did like a full stop, because I was professionally speaking at the time about mental health, and it was impossible. It was so hard for me to do these speeches, and I was like, fuck, like I need a full stop.
You had a Glennon Doyle moment.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
Like her on her book tour,
yeah.
You know? And so like I had to make like some really fucking hard decisions. I moved home. I went through a breakup. I, quit drinking. All because I was just like, I need to get
weeding
this
it,
path.
get it out so I can see it clearer.
Yeah, so I can see
Did that
what
help?
I'm working
Did that
with.
help, or did that almost make it worse?
I came back. Like, I
Really?
literally came back to life.
Wait, I love that.
I thought that it was just because like I was getting older, or that I was on.
I imagine you probably just seemed like a dull version of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like nothing.
Really
like,
tired.
You're very
a lot.
passionate.
And so then it was
Totally
kind of
get that.
like all the things that I was not, right?
Yeah.
And then like this fall, once I was like, that was a little bit clearer. And originally when I moved home, I was going to move home for 2 weeks and then move to Colorado immediately. But this word stay kept coming up when I was meditating. Stay. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, all right, I'm just going to like, again, with the intuition thing, I'm just going to fucking listen to it. I'm just going to listen to it. Doesn't make sense. I don't like it.
But
I don't want to do it,
it
but
keeps,
I know.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Good
I
for
gotta
you.
fucking do it. And
That's
I don't
so
want
hard.
to,
Yeah.
but I will. Right? And so I stayed. And I like stuck around town, lived with my parents, dead fucking sober.
Do you think that being home and almost going back to like your roots and like your most purest natural habitat of sorts was how like you needed to meet yourself there in that space to then pick up all the bags and keep walking?
That's fucking brilliant. And I didn't think about that, but yes, that's exactly what it is.
I wonder that.
Oh my God.
Because I went home and I went home for a year when I did my show. And
for a year?
Yeah, I was, 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I was home working there for a year, and I was, with my parents, and it was just like, I remember feeling I didn't really want to leave for that long, but I remember thinking I have so many blocks that have to do with that home.
That space.
And just me as a younger, I'm so different now, and I can't bridge the two.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that in the moment really until I was there, and like 7 months in, I was like, holy shit, I needed to be here.
Yep.
It's a crucial part of your mending. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Did you feel like that?
Yes. Oh my God, yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird in hindsight to look at that though and go, that was so, stay, sit with it.
Yeah. Like, be here.
Yeah.
Stay. And then I just happened to go to Austin in January and made just like random chance connections. A lot of just wild, just like random things that just falling together. And then, and doing this podcast. And then from there, I just kept getting this word that was build. Build. And I'm like, oh, so if the first half was kind of like all the things I'm not, now it's like, who am I? Like, oh my God, now I get to be like.
Now I know what I am, like what blocks I want to take and build.
Yeah, and like who can I be like moving forward? I'm
that's
fucking
fun.
pumped. Like, oh my God, I get to be a fucking sober person. I get to fucking date sober. Like, I'm so.
That's gonna be
like,
so different,
dude. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been a lot like.
God, you need to talk about that on the podcast. That's so interesting.
I know, but it's been very just fun. Like, I fucking love sobriety. It's like.
That's amazing.
It's fucking fun, dude. It's fun.
What would you say is like what's the most fun?
You get
surprising
100%.
fun.
You get 100% of you, like all the time. Like you're never.
You never like checked in, check out.
Me.
Yeah.
And this is like I don't like. I never want it to seem like I'm like, oh, this is the way. If you drank, you're fucked,
No.
But for me, it was like I wanted 100% of myself. I wanted 100% of my potential, and it was taking so much away from me because. My mental health was just suffering so bad from it. But like, I love just like experiencing life and then getting stronger in different areas, like still partying, like still going out and like buying shots for people, and mine doesn't have alcohol in it. Like that's fun. Dating, exploring, like hooking up with a girl sober, like that's fun.
So wild.
Getting the jitters, like on a first date, like,
and like for real, and having to sit in it kind of instead of just being like, okay, another drink, because you're feeling kind of like it's good uncomfortable, but it's still sparking this like.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It might be similar to like you with art, where it's like you have to have like your boundaries, because then that like pushes you forward in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like.
I'm not sober when I'm working, so that's a problem.
Yeah, but that's probably a good tool for you, right?
Well, it just helped with it's I'm noticing myself like getting away from it, but I think it's been such a habit from when I started, because it would just completely, like, the filter is gone. My head gets in the way when I'm not high, that like I'm like, well, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Wait, no, that's not. It's like if I'm high, I'm just like. Before I know it, the color's on there, you know?
Dude, reminds me of Chelsea Handler. That's how she got into meditating, and she would smoke.
Yes. That's exactly, when I listened to that, I was like, that is exactly what I'm talking about.
And it's like, it's a great fucking tool. Yeah. I think weed is very similar to like my fucking Zoloft. You know? It's like, it's a great tool. Yeah. Zoloft, girl, dude.
You want some? No,
what was your 150? No, I actually don't know what my milligram is.
Mine's 100.
I think I'm 100 too.
And it's just like baseline. It's a lot. It's like the lowest.
Baseline is.
Yeah, it's 100.
When did you go on Zoloft?
4 years ago.
What's it been like?
I think for me, it's been really good.
Yeah.
I think I've never, so Prozac, I was on Prozac at one point.
I heard that's like crazy making.
Horrible. I mean, I think it's just one of those like really old drugs that it just like nukes the building instead of goes in and like cleans it out, you know? I mean, it's crazy.
I love that metaphor.
I got off of it and I could not stop crying. I had all this emotion. I remember my therapist saying like, oh, it can do that. Like, because your emotion was never dealt with. It was just compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And so that was wild to actually like be like, whoa, that actually is a real thing. Like your body actually, it's like in there.
Wait, that's scary. Is that what happens with Zoloft?
I don't think that's what I was about to say. I don't think it happens with Zoloft.
Because
like,
do I need
you
to
can
like
still feel and like,
like I still cry.
Yeah, and you process.
Yes.
But like, no, Prozac, it's like.
You also, I need to check time, and then I need to hear so much about this. Sadly, I do have to go.
Okay.
I do have to go, sadly.
Okay.
But wait, just answer this question
sad
for me.
I'm having fun.
I'm having so much fun. And also, we just got into the Adderall part, because I was an Adderall girly when I was in 7th grade.
Well, I need to talk to you, because I've just been a girly, but I take it like everyone. I hate it. If you don't like it, you need it. If you like it, you don't need it.
I love that.
But yeah.
All right. Only because I have to go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much. Seriously, dog, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For being on the podcast.
That was really very aggressive.
This is really intense. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not good at sign-offs. I'm really bad at sign-offs. I am always so awkward. And so that's, we're going to end it now. All right, bye, guys.
Cut.
Adios, cut forever.